now, after what happened with the explosion.
Have you been in touch with U.S. Steel employees?
Yeah, that's what I've heard when I went down there. But again, I don't have, I can't confirm that, but that's what I've seen. But without a doubt, this is tragic what's happened, and I don't know what kind of damage occurred to the facility. But just when this happened back years ago, they were able to come back and rebuild it, and I'm sure that's what they're willing to do. Just after this, just awful.
Senator, what's your message to community members here in Clairton?
It's just heartbreaking. I grieve with all of them, and the shock and the tragedy of what happened today. I was just out here in the area, and I just head straight right here. Again, this is our communities. I live here, and that's why this way of life here is. That's why I fought for it, and to have all this maintained. Whether I live right across the street,
we're listening to the mayor.
Edgar Thompson
I'll fill
plant.
you guys in
that's
a sec.
That's the way of life out here in this region.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And if you are still with us, Shannon, in the studio, this is Senator John Fetterman. He just appeared at the scene. He said he was just nearby, probably at home. He didn't say, but he was nearby when he heard the news. He rushed to the scene, something we've seen him do in the past of much more hyper-local situations. This obviously a huge concern, and he showed up within an hour and a half, of course, to gather information. He also mentioned that he was in touch with U.S. Steel officials. He didn't say when exactly he last spoke to them, but he did say he was able to talk to them, try to get some information. He said, as we've said, we will confirm this information. So this is not us reporting it, but he had mentioned that he learned one person was still inside. We are trying to confirm the number of people still inside, as this is, as we've said many times now, officially a rescue mission, and we will get that information hopefully as soon as we can here on scene, or from our people here or there at the station working to gather information as well. But we'll bring that to you as soon as we have it.
Kaylee, thank you for that. Just a little bit of perspective on steel in the Mon Valley as we go from you to our reporter, Yasmin Rodriguez, live at UPMC Mercy Hospital. We got Yasmin there. What is the latest where you are, Yasmin?
Yeah, we want to take you live to what we're seeing. We've been here for about half an hour now. This is the first helicopter we have seen land here at UPMC Mercy. Like I said, we've been here for about half an hour. Not much activity happening until right now. We don't know how many patients are inside that helicopter, but we have confirmed that there are 2 patients here at UPMC Mercy. UPMC officials saying that this is the region's only level 1 trauma and burn center. We don't know the condition of those 2 victims yet, but we can only assume if they are being treated in the burn center. Now, I have reached out to officials at the United Steel Workers Union.
Look at this time lapse of this explosion. This is a steel plant in Pennsylvania. Hey, Angie B.
Wow. Take a moment to look at that brand new video of a time lapse of the explosion. This is from the Breathe Project. Okay, they posted this. They have a camera on this facility at all times. This is the first time we're seeing this. All right, we actually want to keep this video a little bit of the explosion that was posted online. Let's get back to Kaylee Gunderson. Oh, wow. Dozens of get more information from the scene again. There right outside the plant. Okay, Brant. Oh, wow. Wow. Take a moment to look at that brand new video of a time lapse of the explosion. This is from the Breathe Project. Okay, they posted this. They have a camera on this facility at all times. This is the first time we're seeing this. All right, we actually want to keep this video a little bit of the explosion that was posted online. Let's get back to Kaylee Gunderson, who's with Senator.
All right, we're going to go back to real time. There was
just learned a few minutes ago into our newsroom that multiple AHN hospitals are also receiving inbound patients from that plant explosion. They are going to keep us informed.
There's a lot of
how many patients,
affected.
where the hospitals
are.
UPMC officials are still working. Maybe 2-3 minutes ago, we're working to learn this few updates.
Multiple AHN hospitals receiving patients. We have learned that dozens of people have been injured in this explosion at the Clairton Coke Works, the U.S. Steel plant in
They're
Clairton.
Still trying to put it
That's
out.
Part of the Mon Valley Works. And we've got Drone 4 live over the situation. You can see emergency vehicles. You can see the plant clearly as a rescue operation continues to unfold. I want to tell you a little bit about steelmaking in the Mon Valley as we're dealing with this emergency and learning more information about injuries. We know 2 people at UPMC Mercy Hospital are being treated right now by doctors and nurses. You see the Mon Valley Works, you see the Clairton Coke Works here. The coking process, you know, we've talked about it before. This is a plant where they take coal, they heat it up to very high temperatures, they create coke, which is an ingredient in steel, and it's part of the steel making process as well. That ingredient then goes up the river, up the Mon River to the Edgar Thomson Works, and then it goes down the river again to the Irvin plant as well. But the coking process for steel is the oldest way to make steel. There are other U.S. steel operations that use just electricity and electric arc furnaces. They use scrap metal. That's not what takes place in the Mon Valley. They use high heat, they use flame, they use coal and coke just to do that. And we have a situation right now where again we have working on a building next failure at the Clairton Coke Works as part of this steelmaking process in our community in the Mon Valley, where your friends and loved ones work. There's a shot right now on a map to show you where the Clairton Coke Works is and sits on the Mon River as part of a system that straddles the Monongahela River that makes steel in our region and has for more than 100 years. Our reporter Yasmin Rodriguez just a short time ago spoke with a construction worker who was working on a building next to the plant at the time of the explosion on some scaffolding. Not only did he hear that explosion, he felt it.
Tell me what time it happened, what you felt, what was going on.
Oh, I would guess it was probably about 40 minutes ago. Time has flown by. Felt like thunder, but it literally we're on scaffold. Shook the scaffold, shook my chest, and shook the building. And then we saw the dark smoke coming up from the steel mill.
Did you realize it was the steel mill at that time?
Put two and two together, and it's like something bad happened.
And in that moment, did you realize it was the steel mill?
Yeah, you could see it from 837 on the road.
Kind of explain to me what that looks like, that black smoke, and did you see the fire actually billowing?
I did not see any fire. I couldn't see the tops of the flames. All I saw was the black smoke, which has dissipated now. I don't know if they have it under control or whatnot, but not nearly as much smoke as there was a half hour ago.
What does that scene kind of look like now?
Every fire department within 15 miles is here. A lot of ambulances, lots of sirens.
Did you physically hear an explosion?
Oh yeah, it sounded like thunder.
Wow. How far is your work site from the mill?
A half mile to a mile.
So everybody on your site kind of felt it and heard it?
Yeah, not even a half mile. We're pretty close.
I can hear the emergency responders in the background.
So scary.
Wow. Have you worked in this area for a long time?
We've been down here for about 2 weeks. We're doing a brick veneer on a building and just so happened to be down here while it was happening.
Any evacuations happening right now in your area?
I honestly, I don't know. I can't speak to that.
Are you guys kind of hunkering down in the meantime?
We're continuing to work. But hopefully, I don't know, maybe it'll be an early quit day. I don't know. I'm just worried about the guys down there.
Yeah. Is there anything else about the scene that you can kind of tell us, describe what's going on? Because we're seeing it from that aerial view, but you're kind of seeing it firsthand. Is there anything else that you can kind of tell us that would help?
From my understanding, there was construction going on down there. It might have been because of the Nissan merger or Nippon merger. I'm not sure, but it could be due to some type of construction. Mm-hmm. I can't speak facts. This is all opinion.
Can you still see that smoke though right now?
No, not from where I'm at. It's kind of dissipated enough that it's really not the same billowing cloud that it was when it first happened.
Hey guys, welcome in. We have an explosion
You're hearing
at a
from
steel
people
plant.
who were there close by when something exploded inside a U.S. Steel operation in Clairton in Allegheny County. We've got our crews all over the region, stretching from the hospital on the bluff in Pittsburgh at Mercy and all the way to
We
Clairton
don't know if
on the
anybody
ground.
died yet.
We've got folks in the air with Sky 4 showing you the scene of a terrible explosion. A rescue operation continues.
So there's a rescue operation right now, and they reported that there was dozens trapped and dozens wounded. But it just happened like an hour ago. So everything coming in is still sketchy.
To treat the wound of this.
A little bit now. 3 helicopters have left the scene with patients, we assume. 1 remains on the ground here on the helipad at U.S. Steel, but we can see much more wide this explosion area was and how much damage it's done. A tremendous amount of rubble. You can see damage to the side and the roof of this building. You can see the work shed on top of the building that has been even severely damaged. But further down into the dark near the bridge that connects the 2 buildings, you can see damage to the roof all the way over there. There was a vehicle parked in front of this building that you can see it was knocked all the way across the parking lot and then burned up significantly as well. Crews again remain on the scene here. We do still have a trickle of smoke, but a tremendous amount of emergency first responders on this scene will go in again on the ground. You can see them trying to get some rest, get some water, make sure that they're taking care of themselves as they continue the effort to control the situation and help anyone who may still be trapped inside. More, of course, as we get it from Sky 4. Shannon.
Sam Hall, thank you for that. Now let's go to Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Kaylee Gunderson live on the ground just outside the gates of that plant. Kaylee, we know that there are coke batteries inside that plant that really cook coal and turn it into coke. They get to very, very high temperatures, and we've heard so much about how this is dangerous work. What's the latest from where you are?
Shannon, I can tell you the danger of this work has been stressed from officials we've heard from here on scene. It's obviously, common sense. People know that, but really stressed here today when you think about what has happened. We heard from Senator Fetterman talking about how, yes, this is, he said, a safe place to work, a safe environment, but there are just natural dangers of the job that come with it, that people know that they have when they sign up to do this very difficult work. When that explosion happened, we heard from a lot of people in this community saying that they really felt that. They felt the shake. It shook their car, it shook their home. They could tell that something was wrong immediately when they felt that. Listen to what William Pierce said. He lives in the area. He was just out walking nearby when he felt it. Listen to what he said.
The first mind thinks you're going to panic. Are we going to evacuate? Are we going to have to evacuate? What's next? Why ain't they going to let us know? Why ain't they going to let us know if there's something going on too? Why ain't they coming to houses like there's a leak? Hey.
And now, obviously, you're still here. Your concern has shifted to the people inside. How are you feeling watching this scene kind of take shape?
Kind of iffy, because I know a friend that works at the gas station. Her son works there, and he said he was inches from death the last leak.
Oh, damn. That is not good.
Taking you back live out to the scene, zoomed in on the entrance here to the Coke Works plant. We just want to show you what it looks like now. Things have calmed down a bit, just in the sense of less vehicles in and out, but still a very active scene as we wait for this rescue mission to officially play out. He described something that we've heard from a lot of people as well, knowing someone connected to this plant. I've heard from a lot of people who have just stopped by, texts. They're wondering if the person that comes to mind when they think of this plant is okay. And that's top of mind for everyone, for officials as well. Are these people okay? What is, the exact extent of what has happened? And that's really top of mind for this community right now. Shannon.
Thanks, Travis.
Folks praying for not just the injured, but also the first responders there working on scene to complete this rescue mission. Let's go to Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Yasmin Rodriguez live on Pittsburgh's Bluff at UPMC Mercy Hospital.
They're not saying
Yasmin,
what caused it.
Dozens were taken to hospitals there where you are and really around Pittsburgh with UPMC and Allegheny Health Network hospitals as well.
You did, Travis? 10 miles away?
Shannon, that's right. We do have confirmed that 2 victims were taken here to UPMC Mercy. Now, UPMC officials have said this is the region's only level 1 trauma and burn center victim. If you're just joining us, about 5-10 minutes ago, we didn't see much activity, but we did see one of those medical helicopters land here on top of the helipad at UPMC Mercy. We don't know how many people were inside that helicopter. We don't know their condition. We don't know the condition of those 2 victims confirmed here, but we are working to learn more about that. And AHN officials also confirming a few minutes ago that their hospitals are seeing many of those patients from the plant explosion. I am in constant contact with USW officials about where these victims are, the status of their condition, but as you can imagine, they are very overwhelmed with the status of their own workers. We are trying to learn more. Again, we don't know the condition of these victims, but it's safe to assume, with this being the region's only burn trauma, that those injuries are pretty severe and they do involve some burns. You and Sam were both mentioning seeing many of those helicopters and ambulances in and out. We are going to be here waiting to see what else we can find, but we'll be sure to update you when we can. Shannon.
Yasmin, thank you. Yeah, you've got to think about the folks who have loved ones, their spouse, their children, their, their brother or sister working at the Clairton Coke Works, which we're going to show you on the map where the U.S. Steel Clairton Coke Works sits, right along the Monongahela River, right there. Look at this video. This is brand new video of a time lapse of the explosion that's coming up right there. You're watching it as it took place. This is from the Breathe Project. That's an advocacy group that is focused on environmental concerns. And this shows when exactly the explosion happened, that huge plume of smoke just shooting up into the blue sky of Western Pennsylvania. Again, the Associated Press saying now dozens of people injured at that moment when you saw that dark smoke go up from the Clairton Coke Works. It takes your breath away, thinking about just how delicate the situation and how big an explosion this is, that people who are in this valley working and living nearby feeling that explosion today, just around 11 o'clock this morning. Again, video from the Breathe Project. The Breathe Project is also very concerned about the environment in this moment, and they are working to find out more about what the emergency is to the air quality and telling folks to stay inside if you can. We want to show you what the governor had to say this morning, this afternoon on X. Governor Josh Shapiro says this: "My administration is in touch with local officials in Clairton, PA, as they respond to an explosion at U.S. Steel's Clairton Coke Works plant this morning. PEMA and the Pennsylvania State Police are in touch with first responders and have offered all their assistance." The governor goes on to say the scene is still active and folks nearby should follow the direction of local authorities. Do what those folks tell you to do. Please join Lori, the First Lady, and me in praying for the Clairton community. That's from Governor Josh Shapiro. We also heard from Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis sending us this statement. Quote, "The Mon Valley is my home, and I know people that work at the Clairton Coke Works. Blair and I are praying for the workers and their families and have been in contact with local leaders and the steel workers. The Commonwealth is providing whatever resources and manpower are needed to help with emergency response. Please stay away from the area." The Lieutenant Governor telling you to stay away from the area to allow emergency crews to do their job and follow all future guidance.
Oh no, Travis, that's horrible. Travis said they saw a child playing on plant property outside the gate on security footage prior to the blast. He appeared to run behind a crane towards the river, but was never seen coming back out. Look at this live footage.
I hear you, Shannon, but I'm going to, say that we're talking about the structural integrity of this building. You can see where that explosion occurred. We still see water pouring from the sprinkler system. And as we have been able to get in a little closer, tremendous amount of rubble even on the roof of this building. So the explosion driving that rubble up and out of pan back as we go through a smokestack. But crews again remaining on the scene here. We know that 4 helicopters, medical helicopters, were called to this scene. 3 have left the scene and 1 remains on the ground because there is reportedly someone still inside, at least one person still inside that they're hoping to get out, and they may need to use that medical helicopter to get crews inside this building and more as we get it from Sky 4. Shannon.
Yeah, stressing right now that dozens of people have been injured in this explosion at the Clairton Coke Works, the steel operation from U.S. Steel. We know that there is at least one person still trapped in the wreckage, the charred rubble of this explosion inside the steel mill. And rescue crews, those search and rescue crews, doing the delicate operation to try to get that person out and get them to the medical attention that they really need right now. You see all the waiting ambulances. One of those ambulances, we want to know if they're going to be able to take that injured person to the medical helicopter. We are waiting to hear more from the rescue operation. We've got just dozens of doctors and nurses at UPMC and AHN hospitals all over our region who are working really hard right now on dozens of injured workers at multiple hospitals. And we also have individuals right now trying to rescue at least one person inside the wreckage of this explosion. And we know that the mayor of Clairton, Senator John Fetterman,
Thanks,
just
Travis.
everyday folks who live and work nearby are actively praying for the rescuers and for the people who need to be rescued. So there are something called coke batteries inside this operation right here. Those are where they heat up that coal to make the coke that's used in steel, with this specialty steel that U.S. Steel does produce in the Mon Valley. It's very difficult and time-consuming and complicated to turn those batteries off and eventually turn them back on. It is not the flip of a switch. But conceivably, when we had the fire back in 2018, I believe, Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2018, okay. A terrible fire.
The scanner says mass casualty incident.
And things had to shut down
on the scanner
for a while. There were pollution control systems that were damaged back then. But that situation was very bad. But what we were dealing with today seems much more critical. And you see workers there walking across some of those bridges that crisscross over the top. Wow, it's just something when you see those folks who, let's try to find those workers again on that bridge. There they are. There's folks that work at Clairton Coke Works wearing those orange suits.
Travis, it looks like there's more listeners on South.
On a critical situation as an explosion has taken place at a steel mill, a U.S. Steel operation. Putting in perspective right now, we know that U.S. Steel has just been purchased by Japan's Nippon Steel. And
about an hour ago, T-Dub.
A deal that took more than a year to
then
secure,
get out, Jane
and
Doe.
two different
Fuck
presidential
off.
Administrations and a lot of political wrangling. Here's video back from the previous situation, a breakdown at the Clairton Coke Works, where we have been multiple times. Oh, this is back in June, actually, of this year when there was a failure. Let me tell you about this. The Allegheny County Health Department, back in June, just a couple months ago, reported elevated sulfur levels in coke oven gas while repairs took place within a control room. That was back on June 2nd of this year. You're seeing video from that time. The Allegheny County Health Department's Liberty Monitor measured a significant spike of hydrogen sulfide and sulfur dioxide during that breakdown. So they had some problems, serious problems, back in June. And this is a video from today. Again, that particular in June just happened a couple of months ago. Our reporter Yasmin Rodriguez heard from a construction worker who was right next to the Coke Works at the time. He was on scaffolding, working on a building, doing some exterior work when that explosion hit. And here's her interview with that construction worker.
Tell me what time it happened, what you felt, what was going on.
Oh, I would guess it was probably about 40 minutes ago. Time has flown by.
County 123 Captain.
But it literally we're on scaffold.
123 Captain.
Shook my chest.
Can you get that 294 for the air truck? They're going to come straight into the scene down T Road to the staging area. That's probably 294 for the air truck.
Thank you, Travis, for your info and input today.
123 Captain, 1 against 2. Good.
can you send your chauffeur down to move the truck out of the way? That way we can get by. We're going to the next battery.
Hey, Tara. Welcome in, everybody. We have a plant explosion in Pennsylvania. Coke Works. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I know we have a lot of locals in here. Thank you guys for tuning in.
123 Cap and 142 Chief.
I'm going to let the scanner play and see what we hear.
123 Captain, good.
If needed, Meyer truck's available with crew.
Receive. If they don't crew, I'll just go ahead and bring engine.
Oh, your day off. Nice. I know this is close to you, Angie B. And I'm sure that a lot of people in Pennsylvania know people that work at these mills, right? This is kind of like when I lived in Detroit. It's like the auto industry, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Betty, thanks for being here. And I've got the scanner on so you'll hear the truth. I'm going to see if there's any updated info. Ten minutes ago, The Guardian. There are no confirmed fatalities yet at Clairton Coke Works, said Abigail Gardner, the director of communications for Allegheny County.
Unit calling in, engine 2.
U.S. will dispatch it. If you're staged at a hydrant, they're asking to address that out.
Yeah, this would be like it happening at a Ford plant or something.
Copy, proceed to the hydrant. As soon as 123 truck moves, we will be headed that way.
So they said this started about 10:51 a.m. And they're just saying it's an active scene. They're not giving any other information. But the Clairton Coke Works is a massive industrial facility south of Pittsburgh and is considered the largest coking operation in North America. So what will this do to the steel industry if they're the largest coking operation in America? What kind of effect will that have on we the people as it trickles down? Does anybody know? "19 minutes ago from ABC News, a rescue operation is underway for people trapped under the rubble." Welcome in, you guys. I think we're going to lose this. This guy might be going to refuel, so let's switch our scenes here. Bear with me. If you could hit the like button, it gets our video out in the algorithm, so maybe we can get more locals in here as well. Yeah, we're going to shrink him down. They ended. Okay, give me a sec. Okay. All right, there we go. We're back live. We need coke to make steel, period. Hey, Hay says it's going to be bad because even during the Christmas fire 2018-19, the union workers were greatly affected by being out of work. They rebuilt from June's explosion already. Yeah, I guess there's been a couple explosions in the past years. Couple years. Could put a damper on the auto industry, appliances, and more. We make steel here for Ford, GM, Subaru, BMW, Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, and more. KitchenAid, Maytag, and more. I didn't even think about appliances. I mean, this seems pretty... Was the other one in June? How big was that one? This looks pretty disastrous. Let's see what the news is saying. If I can find her, there she is.
To work quickly on at least one injured patient, 2 injured patients who have been flown to Mercy Hospital's burn unit.
Shannon, yeah, that's right. We saw that helicopter land about 15 minutes ago. We don't know how many people were inside, but we did have confirmed about an hour ago that there were 2 people being treated here. It's safe to say that that number has gone up. And about 5 minutes ago, we did see an ambulance rush into the emergency bay, presumably bringing in more patients. Again, we don't have that exact number of how many patients are here at UPMC Mercy, but AHN officials giving us an update not too long ago. Bear with me. I want to make sure we get all this information right. Officials telling us that Allegheny Health Network hospitals have now received a total of 7 patients. AHN Jefferson Hospital is currently treating 5 of those patients. Allegheny General Hospital and AHN Forbes Hospital are each treating 1 patient. Now, they do say that further updates will be provided. We are going to head over to Jefferson Hospital to see what we can learn, how many more patients, if they're coming, the condition of those patients. We're going to head over there shortly. We'll give you updated information when we get there. Shannon.
Absolutely. And information, Yasmin, we're hoping flows to the loved ones of those patients who have been injured and are being treated right now. I am sure that those folks are desperate for information. Thank you, Yasmin. We will check back with you in just a bit, and she's going to head over to a different hospital right now. To let you know about the fire and explosion at the Clairton Coke Works U.S. Steel plant, we've got Drone 4 to show you exactly what it looks like now, a couple of hours after the explosion. All right, they're bringing in some heavy equipment to move some debris.
There's people underneath that, y'all.
Over the area as that water continues to flow. You've got some employees there in the orange suits, somebody in a different colored suit.
God almighty.
You know, it's interesting. We've interviewed David Burritt, the CEO of U.S. Steel, twice over the past few years about operations at U.S. Steel. They have invited me inside the Irvin Works, the Irvin plant, which is really close to the Clairton Coke Works, to talk about U.S. Steel and the acquisition of U.S. Steel by Nippon, the Japanese company. We've talked about this over the years. And David Burritt, the CEO, often talks about safety. He has let me know on multiple occasions that the phrase safety first was originated.
Right, like can you imagine sitting at home right now waiting to find out if your loved one is in there or got out? Oh my God.
Carnegie and Henry Clay Frick and other steel magnates in this community.
And then having to look for your own employees or coworkers in this rubble.
That safety does continue to be a concern, but we are asking U.S. Steel those questions.
My
about
God,
safety
there's no telling what we'll see, you guys.
The initial response in the emergency right now. There's a lot of water on the ground right there. Okay, so the Associated Press now saying dozens of people wounded in this reported explosion. Here, this is from Ross Westview EMS.
Go back to the drone
right now. It says Ross Westview EMS Association, along with numerous other agencies in Allegheny County, participate in this agreement to offer critical assistance in such times. Likewise, the unfortunate event we were to see such a tragic event locally, our brothers and sisters from outlying areas, such as Clairton, would offer the same assistance without hesitation. They go on to say this, quote, this is a local EMS crew. In addition to various regional teams our staff members participate in, Ross Westview is also providing additional team leaders, rescue personnel, medical providers, ambulances, supplies, and rehab support for this incident. Okay, so those are from that is from local EMS providers. And now here, this is from the Allegheny County Health Department. Okay, the Allegheny County Health Department just issued a statement to us. It says, quote, out of an abundance of caution, residents within 1 mile of the plant, the Clairton Coke Works, are advised to remain indoors, close all windows and doors, set your HVAC, that's your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system, to recirculate. They don't want outside air getting in. The statement also says to avoid activities that draw in outside air, such as using exhaust fans. All right, so I really want to put a finer point on that. Keep that statement up there just for a minute. You've got Allegheny County's Health Department letting you know that if you live within 1 mile of the Clairton Coke Works, that you should be indoors and you should set your air conditioning system, your ventilation system, to recirculate. You do not want the outside air around Clairton getting inside the structure that you're living in or you're working in right now. If you're in a school or a daycare, they want those folks to be indoors, not outside, and reduce any activities that draw in outside air, like using exhaust fans. Okay, that just came in from the Allegheny County Health Department. That indicates to us that they have some concerns about pollution from the explosion at one of the batteries inside the Clairton Coke Works. Okay, so the Associated Press telling us dozens of people are wounded in this. We heard from AHN that they've got 7 patients across 3 different hospitals. And we also know at least 2 patients are at Mercy Hospital where they have a burn unit. We saw those helicopters land. We saw 4 helicopters land inside the Clairton Coke Works on their helipad designed just for medical helicopters. And we saw 3 of those helicopters take off, conceivably with patients inside to get the medical treatment. That 4th one,
look at that,
still
smoke
there. And we know that the rescue operation continues at this point. We have not heard an update from Allegheny County Emergency Management officials about the status of the rescue operation. All right, let's go back out to Kaylee Gunderson, our reporter live on the ground. You've gotten to talk to a lot of individuals connected to this emergency right now. Kaylee, here we are coming up on a couple of hours after this terrible explosion. How are things at this hour?
Well, Shannon, quite some time has passed now, and we've really seen it amplify as we got word that there was a rescue effort inside. Now we're noticing the scene calm down quite a bit. The last movement we saw going down this stretch of road towards the entrance to the plant was a county police reconstruction unit vehicle. That was the last major thing that I noticed.
I can't imagine the strong smell of sulfur. Holy shit.
Ambulances going to and from throughout
seems like it would choke
the day and into the afternoon. Now things have gotten somewhat quiet. Perhaps that alert from the Allegheny County Health Department pushed some people indoors who were out here just kind of observing the scene and asking questions, but it's been relatively quiet for some time now. We've seen public officials stop by. They've, of course, made it to different places on this property and been able to speak with, officials, with the site. Much easier than we can, of course. The mayor of Clairton, as well as U.S. Senator John Fetterman, who lives, just a few minutes away in a town somewhat similar to this one. Both of them coming here to, share their concern for the situation and also their concerns for what may have caused this explosion. I want you to hear from the mayor, though, just for his sentiments that he wanted to share with the community today.
Heart goes out to everyone, and these things are not supposed to happen, and unfortunately they do happen from time to time, but God bless everyone. I hope no one was killed, and I hope everybody can recover from this, and it's so unfortunate.
And that was Mayor Rich Lattanzi. We're hoping to get another update from him soon, just about who he's been able to speak to, what he's been able to learn from them, and of course, continuing to gather information that we can here at this scene. But you know, we are being kept back at a significant distance. It's tricky to be able to actually speak with first responders, ask people questions who are here for the purpose of responding. So we're, kept back at a safe distance for them and for us. But we're working to get answers to anything we can. We know dozens of people injured in this. We're now beginning to learn, like I think Yasmin mentioned just a few minutes ago, where some of those people were taken for treatment. As we gather those details, we'll be sure to bring those to you. Shannon.
Great, Kaylee, thank you for that. We just got some information from Casey Rigner, who is the spokesperson, public information officer for the Allegheny County Department of Emergency Services. She's confirming an MCI. That's a mass casualty incident. What that means is she's telling us it was a level 3, and that really does relate to the response efforts. And how many ambulances do go out for a situation like this. But she's confirming.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you, I'm looking at the scanner right now for Allegheny County East, and it says level 2 MCI declared, and then there's also a mass casualty declared. I'm going to go back to the scanner for a minute. People have no place to go. They all live close to family members. Yeah, many people on this side of town don't have gas to make it down the street, let alone to pick up families. 15 or more injuries. Hey, Kay Miller, thanks for coming in today. Sounds like the scanner is pretty quiet. We'll go back to her.
Service workers. We've got, the state PEMA is involved in this. That's the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency. We've got, folks who are concerned in the Allegheny County Health Department about pollution in the air. They're telling folks, listen, if you live near here, you work near here, you have a child in daycare or school near here, get inside, make sure you're not getting that outside air inside your building if you live within a mile. And now on top of that, we've got a federal response, and that is the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. They're getting on scene to start doing their work. Also from the state level, we hear from Governor Josh Shapiro. I'm just going to show you his statement right here. I'm not going to read through the whole thing. He's saying that he and his wife, the First Lady of Pennsylvania, Lori, are praying for the Clairton community. He's also telling folks that PEMA and the state police, that PEMA, again, is the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, offering their assistance. But also the governor of the state is letting folks know, along with the Lieutenant Governor, Austin Davis, who's from McKeesport, which is right there in the Mon Valley. Here's his statement. Listen, if you are not called upon to be a first responder and an expert at this situation, you don't need to be here, and they want you to stay away so that those folks can do their jobs. The Lieutenant Governor, Austin Davis, also letting us know that he knows folks who work at this plant. If you're from the Mon Valley, you likely do too. And you're getting information that there's a mass casualty incident and dozens of people have been hurt, and there's a rescue operation going on here. So lots of prayers going up, lots of really frightened people right now trying to work to find the status and the condition of their loved one. If they know somebody who works at the Clairton Coke Works within the Mon Valley, the U.S. Steel operation here. I'll show you the map where this plant is. It's a factory, right? And they have batteries inside that heat up coal and turn it into coke that gets shipped upriver to make steel from the Pittsburgh area that gets shipped out all over the world. They make that rolled steel in our region and different kinds of specialty steel. Here's where it sits, right on the Monongahela River. That's so those barges can bring the coal to it, and that train traffic can take the coke where it needs to go for the next part of that. So we also heard from Senator John Fetterman. Now, Senator Fetterman lives in Braddock. He used to be the mayor of the city of Braddock, and he lives right next to his home still to this day with his wife and children, sits in the shadow of the Edgar Thompson plant, which is part of this Mon Valley Works as well. So his community is right there. He showed up on scene driving in his Jeep, and here's what he told our reporter Kaylee Gunderson about what his reaction to this.
This reminds everybody how dangerous of a job it is to make steel here and down here in Coke. And you know, back then, 5 years ago, they did an amazing job to rebuild it quickly after that. So my whole thoughts go to the families. They've lost someone today, and it's just absolutely tragic. And now I grieve for these families, and again, I'm proud to stand with the steel workers and to make sure why we do anything possible after this terrible tragedy.
So, Senator,
were there safety concerns?
Yes, that's what I've been heard, and then there's one up to one people that are now unaccountable and trying to find after that as well too. I mean, let's hope that's just not the case. But my God, it's just again, it just reminds people of how dangerous of a job that this is.
I want to give you some clarity as to what what Senator Fetterman just said there. Just to clarify, we have not had confirmation of anybody killed in this explosion. We are just getting information about the rescue operation. We have not gotten an update. We are hearing a lot of things. We're not reporting all of the things we hear because we don't have them confirmed yet. We are working to confirm information that comes in. Well, we're not going to share it with you until we know that it's accurate information. So we are waiting to find out just how severe these injuries are, what the status is of the rescue operation. So what we'd ask is that you bear with us and keep it here for all the information that is appropriate for us to share. We're also getting this just in from the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office, and we have another reporter to get to too. Allegheny County Sheriff Kevin Krause says this, quote, "We have received a number of inquiries concerning our involvement in the overall response to the explosion at the Clairton Coke Works." Sheriff Krause goes on to say, per a request from Clairton Police Chief Robert Hoffman to Sheriff Krause, several deputies from our office are patrolling the city while his officers continue their response to the scene of this explosion. So what the sheriff is saying, that the Clairton Police Department is very busy responding to the explosion, so they're getting some backup to do regular patrols and police work around the city of Clairton while that continues on. Let's go to, okay. We just got information that this explosion at the Clairton Coke Works has in fact claimed a life. We just learned right now and can confirm that one person at least has been killed in the explosion at U.S. Steel's Clairton Coke Works, a steel mill in the Mon Valley.
Bless their soul.
Not the news you wanted to hear. We just got that confirmed that rescue operation is now going to be a recovery operation, as there is a person who has been killed in this tragedy. We're going to go ahead and bring in Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Sheldon Ingram. Sheldon, tell us where you are and what you've been able to learn.
Well, we're at the entrance of the plant, just about 100 yards away, where you can see first responders blocked off the area. Just outside of the plant is this building here called Hometown Burgers and Deli. Now, this building has been here for decades. A lot of the steel workers who would come here during their lunch breaks over the years. The owner inside, Deanna, she says that she heard the explosion from inside the restaurant here. This is a look at the restaurant inside Hometown Burgers and Deli. Right now they have a couple of people up in here, but this is Deanna. Deanna's the owner, and she's the one who heard the explosion just outside of her restaurant here. So, Deanna, first of all, what did you hear or see at the time of the explosion?
I heard a loud boom, and then it pushed I heard our door buzz because it popped our door open. And then when I looked out the window, I just saw a bunch of black smoke everywhere.
Okay, so the impact of the explosion.
Yes.
How far was it, do you think, from your restaurant here?
Probably like a football field away, I would say.
And the impact of the explosion, it blew your doors open?
It did.
Wow.
Yes.
What was your reaction after that?
I jumped. It startled me. I jumped, and then I instantly started thinking about the people that work there. We have customers that come in from over there, so I've gotten familiar with some of the people. So I instantly, started worrying about the people.
And how long did it take for you to realize something bad had happened?
Pretty quick. As soon as I saw the black smoke, I kind of knew that something wasn't good.
Did you seek help at that time, or you just waited for information?
I waited for information. It was only a few minutes, probably 2 minutes before I started seeing some first responders coming through.
Now, of course, this is a private business here, but you service this building. This food eatery has served steelworkers for decades, and so you know a lot of people who work over there.
I do.
And do you know any of them personally, or do you know about any of them who may have been injured?
I know one person personally, but he's no longer there. He quit there last week.
Do you know what the reaction has been like in the community so far? Just speaking, texting with folks, talking with folks?
They seem to be pretty scared. A lot of people are very curious, wondering what's been going on. I've had a ton of people calling and checking on me, just being down here.
Because your business is so close.
Yes.
Anything else you can share with us?
Just that my heart is with all the families and my prayers are with them, and I hope that the ones that did make it out are okay.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Again, this Hometown Burgers and Deli is right here by the entrance of the plant here, and as we look to our right, you can see first responders still making their way in and out of the facility. Of course, a lot going on after the severity of what happened, and now that we know it's a very tragic situation, knowing that at least one person has lost their life as a result of that explosion. We'll give it back to you, Shannon.
Great. Sheldon Ingram, thanks so much. Let's go ahead and bring in Pittsburgh's action weather meteorologist Jeff Rosella. Talk about wind speed and health-associated concern as it relates to this fatal explosion at the Clairton Coke Works. Jeff.
All right, thanks very much, Shannon. Now, with the explosion, that does send particulates up into the atmosphere, and they can get picked up and moved downwind from whatever the wind direction would be blowing at that particular time.
You're going to go to different locations to be on the other side of the mill here, the stage. We're going to put all the vehicles over there. All right.
Switching the scanner on for a few minutes. Terrific. I don't think they're being honest about how many people could honestly be still in there.
Maybe as far north as Portview and McKeesport, with that southerly wind pushing those particulates with each passing hour a little further to the north. So again, some of the impacts could be felt in poor air quality conditions at the moment with that 5 to 6 mile an hour southerly wind in Belbridge, Wilson, Coal Valley, Glassport, maybe on up toward Portview and McKeesport. Shannon.
All right, Jeff, thanks so much. We're also thinking about those first responders who are out there in the heat today. We're going to have an update on their efforts shortly. We do want to get you up to speed here. We're reporting some news that I hoped we didn't have to confirm, but Allegheny County officials do confirm at least one person has died. 2 people are still unaccounted for, and several are hurt after an explosion at the U.S. Steel Coke Works. Many are hurt at this explosion. The status of those injured is not available at this time, though we do know some were flown to area hospitals. Everything began before 11 o'clock this morning. Again, one person has been killed. We just learned that 2 people are still unaccounted for, so that rescue operation does continue.
2?
Inside the mill.
They said 1.
All right, let's get back out to Kaylee Gunderson live on the ground. You know, Kaylee, I think about all of the training that goes into these first responders who just try to get themselves as ready as they can for a day like today. You work with these emergency responders, these search and rescue.
Back of their minds, living in this area in the Mon Valley, they know it might come up and it might be something they might have to respond to. And so they're prepared for that. We've seen so many crews rushing to this scene. I'll show you what it looks like now. It's a bit calmer, and I know Sheldon gave you a different angle just a few minutes ago. A bit calmer. We've got some trucks and cars now released that they can come out. They're letting people move a bit closer. We just haven't been able to do that yet because of where our truck is located. But so it's calmed down a bit here at the entrance. You know, Shannon, as you were listing off, you said one person has died, 2 unaccounted for, and then we know several others were hurt and being treated at hospitals. It makes you think of how many people this really impacts, how many families know that their person who works here is either hurt or possibly worse. How many people know those people, their friends, their family, and beyond. So this is really such a far-reaching incident, and very sad as people are coming here, learning updates, whether they're watching it on the news at home or they're seeing it on social media. I'm sure it has such a big impact on this community who grew up near a steel mill and knows that this is a way of life. You know, we've been able to talk to several people out here today who have just come out of pure curiosity, come to share information. Senator Fetterman, as well as the mayor, Rich Latanzi, but both of them just sharing a message to the families involved. And as I mentioned, so many families involved in this that have someone that they're waiting for updates on right now. So they're of course sharing their prayers.
That's the worst part.
We've seen a lot of tributes come in on social media from the governor, lieutenant governor, who's from this area, and we'll continue to gather those and share those as this day plays out. But again, back here on the scene, it's a bit calm now. Just as we're seeing it, you know, it's fully a rescue mission, and that in and out, that rush to the scene of ambulances and helicopters has died down quite a bit at this point, Shannon.
Yeah, Kaylee, thank you so much for that. And there is a change in the mood for sure there on scene. And back here at Pittsburgh's Action News.
So basically what they're saying is whoever is in there, it's now recovery, which is awful.
We are waiting for word from Allegheny County Emergency Services about the status of those 2 people still unaccounted for. Yeah, and we've got Kaylee's mic still up, so let's get rid of that. And let's go again to drone 4, where we see the inside. We see the inside of this Clairton Coke Works. Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Sheldon Ingram, you've responded to this scene many times in your life. We've all reported on the Clairton Coke Works and the U.S. Steel operation there in the Mon Valley. You're reporting about the fact that there are people who live and work in this community, and this steel mill is at the heart of it, and they felt that explosion this morning just before 11 a.m. physically, and they also felt it emotionally.
Okay, we got
Sheldon.
some footage. All right, hold on. We're gonna go to X for a second because there's people that took their own video. Just give me a second here. Why is it showing that? Like, that's not what I'm seeing. That's weird. Hold on. There we go. All right. This is the first one. It says this is an hour ago. And here's another photo. It literally looks like a bomb went off. At first, they thought they could probably save people, you know?
Been thinking that this were fire crews putting this water, but I think this water is maybe from a sprinkler system, as part of the roof may have collapsed, but the pipe remained intact, and that water just continues to flow out there. No firefighters are putting water on this scene. There is still smoke on this scene.
Wow. Here's another image. Look at all that smoke. Oh, wait, here's another video. When they were putting water on it. Here's another angle. Hey, Megan May. I know, burns are the worst. It's awful, awful. Here's that time lapse from the Breathe project. I don't know why it won't play. The post says people trapped under rubble after explosion. Jesus Christ. I'm not sure if there's any other. Yeah, for some reason this time lapse won't play for me. Here's another video, another picture. Jammers, where you been? Here we go. Here's the time lapse. So here's the very beginning right here. This is when it exploded. Yeah, it's bad. It's a huge explosion. Oh, and it happened so damn fast. Looks like a boiler explosion. Looks like a gas explosion. I don't know. I can't even begin to guess what it could be, because I know nothing about this industry. But I did hear 1,200 people work there. About 1,200 employees.
An explosion with multiple injuries confirmed at a Western Pennsylvania steel mill.
Well, they're saying that surrounding homes too need to turn on their AC and like close their windows and everything. I don't know. What's the temperature in Pennsylvania today? What about people that don't have air? 90 degrees today? Oh, wow.
I'm sure he understands, as do I, the instinct to want to go to the scene, especially if you have a loved one who could be one of the injured. But he's urging folks to stay away from the scene so that the first responders can do their job. It's difficult. It's a very difficult day. And we are working to bring you all the latest information with sensitivity and accuracy as we learn more. This is video from earlier. You see how fast some of these workers at U.S. Steel are running to rescue their friends and their coworkers after this explosion. You see the dark blackened ground. You see some water from a fire hose, from a fire apparatus, but then you also see what appears to be a sprinkler system that was shooting water onto the scene of that explosion. You see, this is again video from earlier today from Sky 4, a charred pickup truck, a vehicle there. We heard descriptions of workers pulling one person out of the wreckage, getting them onto a backboard. That's a stiff board that they can then take to a waiting ambulance, and just one of many casualties associated with this fire and explosion at Clairton Coke Works. One ambulance after another, after another, after another. 3 helicopters have taken off at the Clairton Coke Works helipad and then returned to hospitals with patients. One of those helicopters landed. A 4th helicopter has landed and is still there. This is a live picture right now of the situation where we are seeing, I think this is drone 4. This is drone 4. Thanks,
the
Taylor.
drone is crazy.
Up in the booth, we're hearing from our individuals here at Pittsburgh's Action News 4, a whole team of people. So you see some heavy equipment coming in there and piecing away some of the charred out debris. And that shot is actually great because it shows you the hole. It shows you where that blast took place, where the wall was breached by that explosion before 11 o'clock this morning. And it's a bright sunny day and you get a very clear picture of what's taking place here. You're looking at a very distressing scene because it may seem calm right now, but what you have is coworkers trying to get to one person who's been killed in this and also trying to get to 2 people who are still unaccounted for. They're working hard to rescue their friends and coworkers who work inside the Clairton Coke Works. I want to bring you up to speed on that one more time. 1 person killed, confirmed from Allegheny County. We know we're dealing with a fatality. Right now, 2 people are still unaccounted for. I also have working with me right now is Pittsburgh's Action News 4 anchor Mike Clark, who's come into work right now. You got word of this and came into work. You know, we've reported a lot on the Clairton Coke Works and on the Mon Valley Works that straddles the Monongahela River. What have you been able to learn from people who are in the area?
Well, I've been watching your coverage for the past hour, Shannon, and you know, you really hit the nail on the head when you said this. Clairton Coke Works has provided so much hope for so many families for so long.
Economically.
Economically, and it has become a way of life for generations of Pittsburghers working there. And to get this news today at a time when there was so much hope in the coming months, all the changes coming in with the merger with Nippon Steel, and to see this response today, it is just a tragic day all the way around.
No doubt about it. And Mike is talking about the information about the fact that there were folks who have, for generations, their parents worked there, their grandparents worked for U.S. Steel in different capacities, and it was and has been a great opportunity for a way to feed your family in this community.
And we do know the Associated Press confirmed that dozens of people have been wounded in the explosion that happened this morning at the U.S. Steel Clairton Coke Works. 1 person has been confirmed killed. 2 others are unaccounted for. Right now, we do want to go back out to Kaylee Gunderson, who is live on the ground. Kaylee, what have you learned in this past half hour?
Well, Mike Shannon, we've seen a lot of seemingly crews, workers of the plant walking, making a path in this direction. So I want to zoom in. We may not be able to see any of them right at this moment. There's obviously some trucks coming out of Maple Avenue, the entrance to the plant. But that's the latest movement that we've seen near that entrance. A lot of what appears to be members of the crew of this plant leaving, walking across Maple Avenue. So that's interesting to me, just to kind of see what looks like an end of shift type of exit. We're still, working to learn the very latest on this rescue mission. Like you just mentioned, 2 people still unaccounted for. We've seen some ambulances leave, but not in a hurry. It's been a very calm scene, other than large trucks like this one you can see here leaving the scene. So a much different environment than we had earlier today. A lot of people were here. They were asking questions. They were watching as ambulances and helicopters rushed in. Now that has dissipated a bit. Obviously, we know there is that warning from the county health department telling people if they live within a mile radius. I believe that was, I'll have to double check that, so don't take my word for it, but I believe they said a mile radius. To stay inside, set their AC to recirculate, to keep that air just what they already have in their home recirculating. So there's obviously a concern there. We're seeing people, though, still show up at this speedway across the street with questions. I know our Sheldon Ingram is over there talking to people right at this moment. But that's the latest that we are seeing. Crews walking, appearing to be leaving the plant for the day. Now, earlier, we were able to talk to Mayor Rich Lattanzi. Now, this was still early on when he was still getting preliminary information. He didn't know the full extent that we know right now, but I want you to hear what he said just about his concern for the families involved and this community.
My heart goes out to everyone, and these things are not supposed to happen, and unfortunately they do happen from time to time, but God bless everyone. I hope no one was killed, and I hope everybody can recover from this, and it's so unfortunate.
Who is this guy? The mayor?
And I believe he is still on scene somewhere. I haven't seen him in quite some time, but I believe he is still here in the area awaiting updates. We also saw Senator John Fetterman. He drove by, he stopped and talked to reporters for a few moments and just talked about the dangers that workers face inside the plant. We asked, is it safe to do this work? He said yes, but there are inherent dangers that workers face when they go to work every day. We just saw him a few minutes ago drive up State Street. So likely leaving the area for a bit, but we're hoping to get some answers in the near future, and as soon as we do, we will bring those straight to you.
Well, of course, he's not going to breathe that in.
Thank you so much. We are hearing from so many elected officials today, so many government departments. This message just posted to X by Allegheny County Executive Sarah Innamorato. She says, I'm closely monitoring the situation at U.S. Steel's Clairton Coke Works following this morning's explosion. Allegheny County Emergency Services is on site, and I'm headed there now to meet with responders. Out in an abundance of caution, residents within 1 mile of the plant should remain indoors, close all windows and doors, set HVAC systems to recirculate, and avoid activities that draw in the outside air. Our thoughts are with the workers, their families, and the community. We will continue to share updates as more information becomes available. So, County Executive Sarah Innamorato following the Allegheny County Health Department's recommendation to stay indoors and make sure your air is recirculated. Don't let any outside air in.
We just got a short update from Allegheny Health Network. Their Jefferson Hospital, which is probably the closest one to the Clairton Coke Works, they have about 5 patients there, but we were just hearing from their communications team. So Jefferson Hospital is not expecting any more patients. They're not expecting any more transports, excuse me. I'm going to repeat that. Jefferson Hospital is not expecting any more patients to be received from the Clairton Coke Works. They're not sure about the other AHN hospitals, but again, they're folks there at Jefferson, doctors and nurses working on 5 patients, We know that there are patients who have been injured in this blast at the Clairton Coke Works in hospitals all over Western Pennsylvania. And the emergency medical response came from Ross Township, Westview, Baldwin, which is not immediately close, but the all-call went out, and these EMTs and these emergency medical personnel got on scene at the Coke Works ASAP, and they have a system in place to get there.
Right, Austin, I feel like that is like false comfort.
That, which means lots of folks and the response that they need from that. Okay, we're showing you the map where the Clairton Coke Works is and sits in the Mon Valley. Just repeating again, 1 person killed, 2 people unaccounted for.
And Shannon, you've been on the air since
that
shortly
water's
after the explosion happened this morning. We don't have an exact number of injured workers from the site. All we know, dozens of people have been injured. We don't know the severity of those injuries. Pennsylvania U.S. Senator Dave McCormick releasing a statement on X as well, saying this: thinking about all those involved in and responding to the explosion at the steel plant in Clairton. I'm monitoring this closely as additional details become available. But in the meantime, Dina and I will be praying for all those endangered and their families.
Dave and Dina.
Also, we heard from Congresswoman Summer Lee. She said this, quote, "My team and I are aware of the tragic explosion at the U.S. Steel Clairton Coke Works plant." She says, "My heart is with the workers, especially those injured or trapped, their families, first responders, and the entire Clairton community." Congresswoman Lee continues saying, please follow local guidance and avoid the area as we gather more information. We are getting that word, too, from everybody on all levels of this, that if you don't need to be there, do not go there. We're going to get you the information you need as soon as we get things confirmed. It's one of those days where you're going to have to just watch your TV, put on WTAE.com, that red banner at the top. If you click on that, you're going to be able to watch us live wherever you are, on your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, so that we can get you the information that you need.
You know, and Shannon, you mentioned all of the people who have been responded, the elected officials who have commented on this. We know the government response to this as well. We have not heard yet a press conference. This is such an active scene right now. We are waiting for word from county officials who will hold a press conference at some point.
We also have reached out to U.S. Steel. We want to hear from management. We want to hear from the CEO
sure they're going to be
about
speaking right
his
now.
response to this. And if he is going to the scene, David Burritt, who we've interviewed multiple times and has talked a lot about how proud he is of the people who work at the Mon Valley Works and in the city of Pittsburgh for U.S. Steel. So we've put those requests out, and we are waiting to hear back. This information is just coming in.
Yeah, this is still a very active scene at the Clairton Coke Works. We are hearing from so many emergency response agencies to this. We just got an update from Ross Westview EMS. They're one of the multiple agencies on the scene. In a Facebook post, officials say, quote, Ross Westview EMSA, along with numerous other agencies in Allegheny County, participate in this agreement to offer critical assistance in such times. Likewise, in the unfortunate event we were to see such a tragic event locally, our brothers and sisters from outlying areas such as Clairton would offer the same assistance without hesitation. We're seeing that response now, Shannon. They go on to say, in addition to various regional teams, our staff members participate.
Come here, good. All right. We're set back up. All right, do you still need that electrician? All right, we're Coke side of 13 battery. Yes, I still need the electrician. I know Chalfont requested a generator light tower that will be able to power everything up in the rehab tent, and I'm thinking maybe we should request maybe a couple buses just for cooling, if you're okay with that. Yeah, I'll work on that. Okay, and if we're able to secure that, it looks like we have, instead of sending them down this C road, I guess that would be, looks like B road, and then they would have to come through the middle and cross over some tracks. And that way we keep a clear path if we got to get out of here again. Copy.
Hey, Sarah. They were talking about getting an electrician for something.
I'm working a new power solution.
A new power solution.
6104 from 140, squad 7.
John Fetterman, wasn't he like a wrestler or something? That's y'all's senator? So what was he? Where'd he come from? What does that mean, Travis? Does it mean they have no power in that area at all? Janine K says he's a loser. He was a jailbird. I mean, he looks and sounds familiar. He was a mayor before this? He looks like a meathead. I don't trust any politics anymore. It used to be old men in suits. Now we've got reality stars and all kinds of weirdos. And it makes me just think the government's even more of a joke. Oh, they need a plant DC electrician to blast site to disable the power. He had a stroke and slowly recovered. Yeah, it just seems like a bunch of... It just seems like a show. It's all a show.
C2, dispatch.
All the world's a stage.
C2. I got a new contact number for you. We're doing a little switch rear here. You're going to be calling 3378 now. 3378, that's called.
Oh, those Harvard graduates are usually the most weird of them all. Harvard is one weird college. Seems like all the fake shit comes from Harvard. All the conspiracies come from Harvard. Hail from Harvard, I should say. But with the power on, I mean, there could be fires going on, like popping up anywhere, right? I'm from the area, and these coke plants are notoriously dangerous. They pay the fines instead of fixing the problem. Yeah, isn't that what happened with that one, the chemical spill? I think it was in Ohio, or they were cutting corners. So was the Unabomber. The Unabomber went to Harvard. Ted Kaczynski. Actually, Ted Kaczynski started Harvard when he was 15. Random J fun fact of the day. 15 years old, a genius, enters Harvard. Comes out a mass killer and terrorist. Evelyn, hey, we don't know what caused it yet. Wasn't Harvard University also involved in MK Ultra back in the 60s? If I'm not mistaken. All right. Got someone on the phone.
Felt like thunder, but it literally we're on scaffold. Shook the scaffold, shook my chest, and shook the building. And then we saw the dark smoke coming up from the steel mill.
Did you realize it was the steel mill at that time?
Put two and two together, and it's like something bad happened.
And in that moment, did you realize it was the steel mill?
Yeah, you could see it from 837 on the road.
Kind of explain to me what that looks like, that black smoke, and did you see the fire actually billowing?
I did not see any fire. I couldn't see the tops of the flames. All I saw was the black smoke, which has dissipated now. I don't know if they have it under control or whatnot, but not nearly as much smoke as there was a half hour ago.
What does that scene kind of look like now?
Every fire department within 15 miles is here. A lot of ambulances, lots of sirens.
Did you physically hear an explosion?
Oh yeah, it sounded like thunder.
Wow. How far is your work site from the mill?
A half mile to a mile.
So everybody on your site kind of felt it and heard it?
Yeah, not even a half mile. We're pretty close.
I can hear the emergency responders in the background of you. Wow. Have you worked in this area for a long time?
We've been down here for about 2 weeks. We're doing a brick veneer on a building and just so happened to be down here while it was happening.
Any evacuations happening right now in your area?
I honestly, I don't know. I can't speak to that.
Are you guys kind of hunkering down in the meantime?
We're continuing to work. But hopefully, I don't know, maybe it'll be an early quit day. I don't know. I'm just worried about the guys down there.
Yeah. Is there anything else about the scene that you can kind of tell us, describe what's going on? Because we're seeing it from that aerial view, but you're kind of seeing it firsthand. Is there anything else that you can kind of tell us that would help?
From my understanding, there was construction going on down there. It might have been because of the Nissan merger or Nippon merger. I'm not sure, but it could be due to some type of construction.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak facts. This is all opinion.
Can you still see that smoke though right now?
No, not from where I'm at. It's kind of dissipated enough that it's really not the same billowing cloud that it was when it first happened.
Okay, if you are looking for information about the explosion at the Clairton Coke Works in Allegheny County, you are in the right place. Here is what we know. 1 person is dead. 2 people are still unaccounted for. Many more have been injured at this explosion at the Clairton Coke Works U.S. Steel plant in the Mon Valley Works. The Allegheny County Health Department wants you to stay inside if you are within a 1-mile radius of the plant.
That's right. State and federal agencies such as the ATF are responding to the explosion as well. We have reporters Sheldon Ingram and Kaylee Gunderson near the Clairton Coke Works right now. And Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Yasmin Rodriguez is live at Jefferson Hospital, where we learned that some of the injured are being treated. Last word, Yasmin, we understand 5 people have been transported to Jefferson?
Mike, that's right. 5 of these patients here at AHN Jefferson. The AHA Networks Hospital have a total of 7 patients. Bear with me as I give you this information. Now, Allegheny General and AHN Forbes Hospital are treating 1 patient each. I did speak momentarily ago.
Okay, we've got Yasmin Rodriguez. She's live at Jefferson Hospital, which is just down the street from the Clairton Coke Works. She's telling us that 5 patients are being treated there. The one thing we also heard from Yasmin earlier is that Jefferson Hospital, which really has received the bulk, I think, of these patients, they're not expecting any more transports, but that remains to be seen. We know that ambulances, both on the ground and medical helicopters, went out very quickly after this explosion, getting the injured where they needed to be in these local hospitals so that medical staff could get to work on them to try to treat them.
Such an important part of this story. We do know that 4 medical helicopters were on scene relatively quickly, and 3 of them left with patients. So they did get injured people to the hospitals, multiple hospitals throughout Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah, if you are just joining us here on Pittsburgh's Action News 4, we have been on the air since the 11 o'clock hour and through our noon news, and we are not letting go of this breaking news situation because we are making sure that we bring you the most up-to-date information about a tragedy in your community in Clairton, the city of Clairton in Allegheny County, where there has been an explosion at a U.S. Steel plant that has claimed at least 1 life. And we know that there are still 2 people unaccounted for. So a very delicate rescue mission continues at this hour. And we are not letting this go. We've got many crews, photographers, producers here in the newsroom and assignments folks working hard, but also people on the ground are reporters.
That's right. We are hearing from so many people through social media, through so many elected officials offering their assistance. We also are hearing from people in and around the plant. So right now we want to go back out to Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Kaylee Gunderson, who is live. Kaylee, what can you tell us about that?
Well, Mike, Shannon, it seems like it might be end of day for a lot of the workers inside that plant. We're seeing a lot of people walking across where you see those flashing lights straight ahead, walking across that path in plain clothes with bags. And then minutes later, we see a slew of cars leaving the parking lot. So I don't know exactly who those people are, but I would imagine they're coming from inside the plant. We also just saw the Allegheny County Fire Marshal's office going into the scene. We know the ATF is here. So that's the late day activity that we've seen since that rush that I've described for you today of ambulances, helicopters. It was a very chaotic scene for the first couple of hours. Now it's starting to die down quite a bit, but we're seeing some more activity.
I've got some photos I'm going to pull up, so keep your eye on the screen.
Leaving work for the day. You know, it's been a very tense scene at times. A lot of people out here at first early in the day, you know, just before noon, really demanding answers. That has died down. I know you've mentioned that warning from the county health department of asking people to stay inside if they live within a mile of here and put their AC on recirculate so that they can keep that air moving through their home and not, you know, get any pollution.
Look at that truck.
Additional pollution that's coming from the plant after this explosion. You know, 2 people still that last we heard that they are still looking for inside, dozens of others injured, and we've learned, you know, some of the places where those people were taken for care today. But the focus right now really remains on those 2 people that we were told are unaccounted for, and sadly that we know 1 person has died. Still a lot of questions. We're hoping to get those answered for you soon, but I'm just going to leave it on this so you can see this last look at what the scene looks like now, hours after that initial explosion. Mike, Shannon.
Gunderson, thank you so much. We were showing some video from Sky 4 in the moments after the explosion, and you saw those U.S. Steel workers, Sam Hall from Sky 4 letting us know that U.S. Steel has its own fire department within the confines of this factory, of this plant, right? So they're trained to respond to emergencies like this one. And we've got video that's rolling from Sky 4 from earlier in the day. A lot of smoke, a little bit of flames that we saw, so an explosion and then a fire in the 11 o'clock hour this morning. And I am struck by what reporter Sheldon Ingram has been able to learn from folks who live and work in the area. It's one of those situations where he's at the local diner at the burger shop nearby, where those steel workers come in every day and eat. And the folks who work in those places, those businesses that support this steel mill and these workers, that video is really telling right there, Mike. You've got those workers just running.
The brotherhood becoming really first responders, running to help those who have been injured in this explosion. You mentioned that burger joint. Sheldon Ingram did speak to one of the workers there. You saw the burger Hometown Burger and Deli right behind Kaylee Gunderson, about a football field away, she said, from that explosion, and the door blew in from that explosion. As we continue to get the story from people on the ground, we are getting a new statement in from the Allegheny Fayette Central Labor Council. And the Labor Council says this, quote, "As we are all learning, there has been a horrible incident at the Clairton Coke Works plant. While we await more information, please say a prayer for the workers. We are here on the ground, and we will be there to support our brothers and sisters with whatever they need," from the Labor Council.
Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Yasmin Rodriguez, you've got somebody to talk to there. Let's go to you live. Okay, we understand that. So Yasmin is at Jefferson Hospital, which is not far from Clairton, and we understand that at least 5 patients have been transported to Jefferson, and she's working hard to get information on how that treatment is going of the folks and the response from the medical personnel. You've got so many different professionals and experts from the search and rescue, folks who are still inside, the Clairton co-workers, trying to get to 3 people.
Scanner
one of them
is
has
silent.
been killed. We understand there's 1 person. This is a live picture right now. Let's just pause here and show you how close we're getting. This plant itself is just really incredible, the scope of it, but you've got some workers right there on the top of, I'd call it a bridge, Mike, within the plant, connecting one part of the plant to another part of the plant. Let's go to Sam Hall.
Yeah, these images are coming from Sky 4. Let's check in with Sam Hall, breaking down what he's seeing. And what are you looking at, Sam?
We are at the south end of the plant, and I can tell you this, Mike, those workers are not actually on the catwalk as kind of an optical illusion, if you will. They're on a lift. Right now they're getting water back onto the initial explosion and fire scene. Those guys are in a giant cherry picker being lifted up into the sky. They are not on that catwalk. Now, we have seen several people on that catwalk going back and forth and across the far building, but right now, those guys that we just saw moments ago from Sky 4 are in a lift, and at the bottom of that lift, firefighters remain on the scene, and they are now pumping water directly on to that scene where the explosion first started. On the other side of the building now, additionally, we have a large water cannon shooting water into a giant hole in the ground. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, but they have cut a large hole, or there was a large hole, where they are pumping water into that hole. I'm not sure whether there's heat or fire down there or what exactly is going on. More, of course, as we get it from Sky 4. Mike and Shannon.
Sam, that makes a lot more sense that they're on a lift. Thank you very much. We'll stay updated on that.
And Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Yasmin Rodriguez is live at AHN Jefferson Hospital, where we learned that 5 people have been treated. She's interviewing someone right now. Let's listen in.
Where he's at.
So your
Oh no, this is
girlfriend,
awful.
what condition was she saying your brother was in?
That the other employee had said that he had been, it looked like, deceased when they had put him into the stretcher or into the ambulance, but we're not getting any results from any of the hospitals, or like we've called the steel mill, they put us to the front gate. There's no crisis at all. Like,
they have no one in place.
You guys are worrying if your loved ones are okay.
And we live 45 minutes away, so driving to Pittsburgh is not an easy thing, and we can't go to every hospital. And it's super frustrating. You know, I've one person saying he's deceased, and then you're hopeful, and it's just, it's unanswered. Like, we need to know where our loved ones are right now. What hospital are they stationed at? Are they with us? Are they not with us?
What do you have to say to the leadership at the...
My dad worked at the steel mill for 42 years, and he would be disgusted in what the situation is right now. Accidents happen, but families, that's brothers and sisters, it's a stronger union. They need communication with these families.
When speaking to your brother's girlfriend, did she give you any idea of what happened, what led up to the explosion?
No, I got no information regarding that.
Was she there as well?
No.
What other hospitals have you been at?
I've called, this is the first I've actually came, I've called Mercy, Shadyside, Presby, Montefiore, Forbes, UPMC East. I've called every hospital that would have been a trauma unit. And usually the steel mill stations to Jefferson Hospital. And currently they said he's not registered yet.
Well, we know there are 5
Oh, God.
people who are here. Another one somewhere. There's another victim somewhere else.
Yeah, so far at no hospitals he's unaccounted for so far, but they physically saw him get placed into a stretcher.
And ma'am, I can't even imagine what you're feeling, but if you can put into words the not knowing of how your brother is.
It's disgusting. It's heartbreaking. He has 3 kids that are messaging me every 2 minutes.
Oh my God.
And we need answers. We need them now. Like, even if it's not what we want to hear, we need to know something.
Do you have a photo of him or anything that you could share with us?
Yeah, if you don't, I could go get my phone right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Say it, spell your name.
Quinn. It's my first name's Trisha. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, guys,
Okay.
that was
Let's go back to Yasmin.
Wow.
36-year-old Timothy Quinn was her brother, 36-year-old Timothy Quinn. She does not know the status of her brother. She did come up to us and tell us that all she knew was that her brother's girlfriend mentioned that her brother was being taken on an ambulance in the back of a stretcher. Did
Poor
not know
girl.
his condition. She's hearing reports that he's deceased, but at this time she's expressing her frustrations with us and how Claritin Works is not giving her any idea. She said she's been in contact with other families as well. There's no staging area. There's nowhere for these families to come together to get more information. We are reaching out to officials here at AHN Jefferson to see if her brother is one of those victims here. We'll continue to update you all, but back to you, Shannon and Mike.
Yasmin, you make a very good point that it would be nice if there were a staging area or a place where families could gather away from the danger, away from any air pollution, to try to get information on their loved ones. And that's a question that we're going to
She shouldn't even be breathing in there if she's
asking,
pregnant.
But we just heard Yasmin's live interview with the sister of possibly one of the victims of this explosion at this U.S. Steel plant today, and she just does not know if her brother is alive or dead.
Right. Tricia Quinn just talking to reporter Yasmin Rodriguez there, and it's 2:18 in the afternoon. The explosion happened more than 3 hours ago, and she is one of many family members wanting to know from U.S. Steel where are their loved ones right now?
Absolutely, and what is their status?
Hey, Mike.
It is an ongoing situation. It is a fluid situation, and so the first step is try to get the injured exactly where they need to be for the best medical care they can get.
The hospitals
That's first.
probably don't know who these
and
people
then
are.
obviously we will be asking questions about what happened and who is injured and what their status is and how severe some of these injuries are. We do just want to repeat that what we're dealing with back at the plant is a situation where we know one person has died in this explosion and 2 people are still unaccounted for. We have not gotten an update on those 2 people that we are waiting to see how they're doing.
And we also know, we've been told dozens of people have been injured, as well as the 1 person killed and the 2 people who are unaccounted for at this hour, 2:20 right now. And the people who live around the Claritin Coke Works are impacted by this as well. Health officials and County Executive Sarah Innamorato putting out the message, if you live within a 1-mile radius of that explosion, stay indoors today. Keep your HVAC system on recirculated air. And a big, important part of that story.
Yeah, for sure. And I, do want to stress that the folks who live in that area, you do want to take precautions. They said out of an abundance of caution due to a possible situation. And I do want to make sure we show this video, if we can, of the explosion that we got from the Breathe Project. The Breathe Project is an advocacy group that monitors the pollution levels and the air quality around the Mon Valley and all of the U.S. Steel and other industrial sites around Western Pennsylvania. But they they capture this nonstop. They have this video that we will try to get up for you here eventually. This is Sky 4 video from earlier today, where you see a lot of water, a lot of smoke going on to the explosion blast site.
And the Breathe Project really, laser focused on people who are young, people who are elderly, people with respiratory issues. They want to make sure that those folks who live within a 1-mile radius of the explosion stay indoors today, so they're not exposed. They don't know exactly what is in all that smoke pouring from the scene.
We do want to go back to Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Sheldon Ingram.
Sheldon, what are you learning about the situation right now?
this explosion, well, first of all, the community reaction is twofold. This explosion literally ripped through the community, both literally and figuratively speaking. We've been speaking for the last 3 hours about the impact of this explosion and how it physically shook some of the buildings. Over here at Hometown Burgers and Deli, this building has been here for decades, serving the steel workers that come in and out of the plant. And the owner, Deanna, she told us that the explosion literally blew the doors open, literally, of her business. And then we speak to other folks who live as far away as 2 miles away who tell us that they could feel the explosion or their relatives could. And then you have the emotional impact.
Yeah,
That's
they
the
didn't
second
show
wave
us, did they?
of how this explosion is impacting the community, because so many
I'll see
people
if I
in
can find
Clairton have worked here, retirees, or they have relatives who are working here, people who have moved away and worked in this plant. They're all connected to this facility in some way, directly or indirectly. So there is a tremendous sense of worry with the people who live in this community about those they know who are still working in there. We spoke to a gentleman by the name of Thomas Webb. He's a retiree. He worked in the plant. And although he's been retired for a number of years, he still feels a sense of worry based on what happened. He spoke to his relatives, and they could feel the explosion a good distance away on the other side of Clairton. This is our conversation we had with Thomas Webb.
Well, I mean, you know, you feel for the people that's in there. You know, the dangerous, the meal's always been dangerous, you know, but things happen and you hope everybody's okay and the families feel, with their family members in there, it's always a worry, you know what I mean? And I thought it can't cross my mind because my nephew's working there.
Oh, no.
Talking to me, I don't know why you. Okay, so that was Thomas Webb, and he was just one of the many people we spoke with. We also talked with a
this
pastor
footage I'm showing
who
is
runs
from
a
earlier.
youth ministry here in Clairton on the other side of town, and he told us that they bring in children in their youth ministry, and for those who don't go on to higher education, they want to go right to work right after high school. That youth ministry actually prepares some of those young folks to come to work here for U.S. Steel inside the Clairton plant. So he was feeling a tremendous sense of sadness based on what happened with this explosion today. So that is how the community is reacting. Physically, they could feel the impact of that explosion, but emotionally, there's a lot of weight on their shoulders for what they are learning throughout the afternoon, the terrible outcome of someone losing their life, and then even more with the exasperated number of injuries sustained for those who were pulled out of the plant. Back to you in the studio.
And again, Sheldon, making sure people know that there is one fatality right now associated with the explosion at the Clairton Coke Works owned by U.S. Steel, and 2 people still unaccounted for. That rescue operation continues at this hour. We just got brand new information from Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania.
That's right. We just got this updated statement. We heard from Governor Shapiro earlier. Let's read to you Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's new message this afternoon. He says multiple explosions occurred today at U.S. Steel Clairton Coke Works in Clairton, PA. Since then, my administration has been in constant contact with labor leaders and local officials, and I've spoken with County Executive Sarah Innamorato to reiterate that the Commonwealth is here to provide any resources needed. He goes on to say injured employees have now been transported to local hospitals to receive care, and search and rescue efforts remain active at the plant. He says that if you're in the area, continue to follow the instructions of local
right here
authorities.
On your screen, it just
Lori, his wife,
exploded.
and I are eternally thankful for the bravery of our first responders, and we continue to pray for the entire Clairton community.
So an important distinction to make there. We just heard from Governor Shapiro saying multiple explosions took place this morning. That's new information. We were hearing about one explosion, and now we hear that more than once a blast took place this morning at Clairton Coke Works.
Right, and when you have a situation like this, a tragedy like this, we are awaiting to hear from officials to give us a detailed timeline of what happened, exactly what happened and when it happened. Just as soon as that news conference takes place, we will bring it to you live.
Yeah, I think what we expect from emergency officials in government, the Allegheny County, I think, will probably be taking the lead on this, is we want to see what their response is so far to this point and what they know about what's happening right now, and to find out when we can expect to get further updates from those folks. This video is just a section of this tragedy that took place this morning and continues to unfold.
This is right after.
In our community. You see those U.S. Steel employees.
See, they're scattering to find
digging
people
through rubble, that charred debris, a hole in the wall of the place where they work, working to rescue their colleagues, their coworkers.
And still a very active scene. Firefighters are on the scene. Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Sam Hall, live in Sky 4, was showing us the scene of a very active firefight, dumping lots of water into a hole. He couldn't determine if there was a fire or something was smoldering, but they were dousing that hole with lots and lots of water.
All right, let's talk with Pittsburgh's Action weather meteorologist Jeff Rizal. And you're talking to us about how wind plays into what's Pittsburgh's Action.
I want to go back to that first video.
To expect to get to this point, and we'll be taking the lead about what's happening right now, and to find out when we can expect to get further updates from those folks. This video is just a section of this tragedy that took place this morning and continues to unfold.
It looks like they're pulling people out of the ground.
Of this tragedy that took place.
Did you see that? They're like lifting someone out of the ground or something.
Is just a section of this tragedy that took place.
See that fireman? He actually lifts someone up. See the fireman? You can see the yellow stripes on his coat, and he's like leaning down.
Just a section
of this. He literally lifts someone out.
This tragedy that took place this morning and continues to unfold in our community. You see those U.S. Steel employees racing and digging through rubble, that charred debris, a hole in the wall of the place where they work, working to rescue their colleagues, their coworkers.
And still a very active scene. Firefighters are on the scene.
And you can see that truck that we looked at in this picture. Thank you, Travis, for sending these photos. It's so, I mean, if you could imagine what this explosion in the force did to that truck. Here's some photos from the scene. It's crazy.
Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Sam Hall, live in Sky 4, was showing us the scene of a very active firefight, dumping lots of water into a hole. He couldn't determine if there was a fire or something was smoldering, but they were dousing that hole with lots and lots of water.
All right, let's talk with Pittsburgh's Action weather meteorologist.
Oh, man. So does that mean that they had to go from pulling people out of that hole to dousing that hole with water? Like when they realized there was no survivors, did they then have to start putting water in that hole? That's fucking horrific. That is horrific.
The greater community impact with health related, as you've been alluding to, Shannon and Mike, is that the county health department has issued people that within a 1 mile radius of where the explosion took place to stay indoors or put their HVAC unit.
I'm not sure about humans going down in there.
Maybe turning off your system
I don't know
until
if
the
that,
emergency.
I don't know if that hole was created by the explosion or if the, you know what I mean? Or if there was an opening there. I don't know.
HVAC units you have in your home may not have that sophisticated system. If you do, check it. Don't bring in air. If you don't have AC, keep your windows shut.
Yeah, I know on my system at home, there's an option to just put the fan on, and that would keep things inside the house. And
if you don't have AC, keep your windows shut. It's only 90 degrees outside.
Not bring in outside air. So I hope that answers your question. I do. Any county health department's telling all of us, not just, we're not telling you, they're telling you, the health experts, to try to stay safe out of an abundance of caution.
Right now, we want to go back out to the Clairton Coke Works, where Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Kaylee Gunderson joins us once again. Kaylee?
Mike, Shannon, we're zoomed in right now on a group of what appears to be first responders, possibly some officials who are gathered there at the corner. We've also seen Senator John Fetterman show back up just a few moments ago after he left the area about an hour ago. So we're hoping that this could be an indicator that maybe we could get some updates soon. I don't know, but this is the first time that we've seen a gathering of officials like this, clearly having a conversation, kind of rallying in one place. And this is the media staging area here at State Street and Maple Avenue, right outside the plant. So we're in the right place to get those answers when we can hopefully officials take questions from us and give us the chance to do that. But I just wanted to show you that was really the first movement we'd seen here in a while. Now you can see more ambulances coming out.
They're not moving very
Of
fast.
that plant. You know, it's been kind of fluctuating a bit throughout the day. We've seen a lot of activity at times. It's slowing down now, and we've seen a row of cars caravanning here and there every few minutes. Seems to be people leaving the plant. I can't say for sure where they're coming from, but that's just my perception as we see here another row of cars pulling out of that parking lot tucked behind Hometown Burgers and Deli.
Jeez.
So a different scene than we had here earlier in the day, but still very much active. And Governor Shapiro confirming that in his statement, that this is still very much an active investigation, still very much a search and rescue mission. 2 people who we heard were unaccounted for and 1 who was killed. Several injured and taken to area hospitals.
Live. We have live
still
footage.
Very active today, and we're hoping we get that chance to ask questions very soon.
Haley, thank you for that. You saw those 3 ambulances leaving there. They did not have their lights and sirens on.
No, they
didn't.
didn't.
They're going to ask the questions about the latest with the search and rescue mission. We know 1 person was killed in this. 2 people are still unaccounted for as we are waiting for official word on the status of those 2 people. So Kaylee also mentioned seeing U.S. Senator John Fetterman in that area. He's been there a couple of times. I will say he's so far the only government official that we've heard from so far today. He lives in Braddock. He used to be the mayor of Braddock. He was the lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania. He has worked hard to make sure that U.S. Steel and steel jobs in general stay in the Mon Valley. He's been a champion of the sale with Nippon Steel to move this company, these jobs forward, and this economic driver in the area. He is devastated and has voiced some of that devastation today, and he learned early on that a life has been lost.
Let's listen to what he had to say.
This reminds everybody how dangerous of a job it is to make steel
Danny.
here and down here in Coke. And you know, back then, 5 years ago, they did an amazing job to rebuild it quickly after that. So my whole thoughts go to the families. They've lost someone today, and it's just absolutely tragic. And now I grieve for these families. And again, I'm proud to stand with the steel workers and to make sure why we do anything possible after this terrible tragedy.
So, Senator,
were there safety concerns?
Yes, that's what I've been heard, and then there's 1 up to 1 people that are now unaccountable and trying to find after that as well too. I mean, let's hope that's just not the case. But my God, it just reminds people of how dangerous of a job that this is.
And his Republican counterpart, U.S. Senator Dave McCormick, just released a statement on X saying this, quote, thinking about all those involved in and responding to the explosion at the steel plant in Clairton. I'm monitoring this closely as additional details become available. But in the meantime, Dina and I will be praying for all those endangered and their families.
How many were working down in that hole?
From Congresswoman Summer Lee, she commented saying this: "My team and I are aware of the tragic explosion at the U.S. Steel Clairton Coke Works plant. My heart is with the workers, especially."
They literally are repeating the same freaking statements over and over and over. They're not getting anything new from anyone. And I can't believe that the union didn't have a spokesperson to talk to families and have them all gather somewhere. To me, that is freaking horrible. These poor people.
And we do have Sam Hall once again in Sky 4. Looks like there's more fire apparatus on the scene here of the explosion,
Let's
Sam.
go in. Look at Sam.
Yes, the emergency response actually continues to grow, and there we see that dedicated water cannon just kind of shooting a jet stream of water down into that hole. Now this is directly across the building from the explosion site, the initial explosion site that also, of course, included a fire. We see crews on the ground there as well. They were putting water into this initial explosion site just moments ago. They have stopped putting water here, and they continue now with heavy equipment to kind of pick through and pull some of that debris away. That's the heat from a smokestack kind of making our picture blurry as we go back and forth here on the lower portion of the plant. But you can see the crews continue to get a little bit closer.
Yeah, and that's Sam Hall in Sky 4 showing us where in different parts of the Clairton Coke Works, they've got a steady stream of water going in.
Why you cut them off?
It's unclear sort of what the strategy is right now.
Might be prevention.
Might be prevention. There's a ton of heat associated with these batteries. And I want to remind folks of the brand new breaking details that we just learned from Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, that there wasn't just one explosion, but multiple blasts this morning at the Clairton Coke Works.
And that may explain why multiple people, dozens of people, have been injured.
Yeah, and we saw with our own eyes from Sky 4 and Drone 4 a hole in the wall where one explosion took place. You can see this there. This is from earlier today. This is not live, but Sky 4 shows you the scene. Smoke and water, debris, charred remains of what part of this plant that just got blown out this morning in a massive and devastating explosion that we know so far has claimed at least one life.
That's not a roof.
Many people who live and work in Clairton are concerned about the air quality due to the smoke from the explosion. The Allegheny County Health Department actively monitoring the explosion and now the aftermath. The ACHD air quality monitors have not detected levels above federal standards, they say, but out of an abundance of caution, residents within 1 mile of the plant, if you live with or work within 1 mile from that plant, you're advised to remain indoors, close all your windows and doors, and set your HVAC system to recirculate the air. Avoid any activities outside. Avoid any activities or that would allow the air to be drawn into your home, such as using exhaust fans.
There's this video too from earlier today.
Maybe
you can see a charred vehicle, maybe a pickup truck, right there in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. In the midst of all that rubble, that explosion causing extensive damage to the plant. This is a plant that has been operating for a very long time in our community. So let's get you up to speed on what we know right now. Allegheny County officials do confirm at least one person has died. 2 people are still unaccounted for. Many others have been hurt in an explosion at the U.S. Steel Coke Works. The status of those hurt is not available at this time. We do know some were flown to area hospitals.
The footage, guys.
3 people at least have been flown to area hospitals, and it all began just before 11 a.m. today.
We are checking with those injured where they are being taken. Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Yasmin Rodriguez is live now at AHN Jefferson Hospital, where we've learned, Yasmin, 5 people were taken there for treatment.
This is
right?
live.
Yeah, Mike, that's right. 5 of those victims were transported here to AHN Jefferson. The status and condition of those victims still remains unknown at this time. A total of 7 patients have been taken to various AHN hospitals. We did tell you hours ago that we also had confirmed that 2 victims were being treated at UPMC Mercy. UPMC officials saying that was the only region hospital that had a level 1 trauma center and burn unit. We don't know the severity or the condition of those injured there as well. When we were at UPMC Mercy, we did see an ambulance come in very, very, very heavy and aggressive, coming in, dropping off. Couldn't see how many patients, but it did look like it was in a rush. Also a helicopter landing on top of that helicopter pad. No word on how many people, if those people were related to the plant, but again, we can only go ahead and assume that because of that burn unit, multiple of those victims were taken here. Now, we're still waiting to find out the condition of the people taken here. Moments ago, we spoke to Trisha Quinn. Now, she's searching for her brother, 39-year-old Timothy Quinch, expressing her frustration with Pittsburgh's Action News 4, saying that the Clairton plant is not providing any updates to these families. She says she only learned of her brother being injured in that explosion because of another worker at the mill. Let her know that her brother was being taken into an ambulance. Where he is at this time still remains unknown, but I have been reaching out to AHN officials and UPMC officials to see where he is, the status of his condition, and anything else we can learn. We're continuing to monitor, and we'll continue to update you as we learn more. Mike, Shannon.
All right, Yasmin, thank you so much. We talked a lot about the environmental concerns right now. This just in from the Clean Air Council. They're sending us this message. They say our hearts go out to the Clairton workers and their families after this devastating explosion. We hope that rescue and recovery efforts are successful. While we're still learning about the explosion, we are concerned about the smoke rising from the plant and what it may contain and what consequences this may have for the operational safety of the plant. Well, they go on to say we urge our neighbors to stay indoors and shut their windows, and we urge U.S. Steel to take the utmost precautions to protect all of its workers and the larger community. This is an aging plant with a history of malfunctions and violations, they say, and we don't yet know if this explosion will lead to follow-on problems.
Now again, here is what we know so far. One person is dead. 2 people are
Amy?
still unaccounted for. Many more are injured after this explosion at Clairton Coke Works plant in the Mon Valley, a U.S. Steel operation. The Allegheny County Health Department says
any new
stay inside
info,
if you're within a mile radius of the plant. State and federal agencies like the ATF are responding.
I'm putting some images on the screen.
We've got a good view of this devastation and the plant itself from the scene from Drone 4. This is inside the Clairton Coke Works, high above here. Allegheny County Police confirmed a short time ago that one person has died and 2 people remain unaccounted for at this
their
time.
coverage sucks.
And a short time after the deadly explosion happened at the U.S. Steel Clairton Coke Works, Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Yasmin Rodriguez spoke with one man who didn't work at the plant, but he worked nearby. Take a listen to his interview.
Tell me what time it happened, what you felt, what was going on.
Oh, I would guess it was probably about 40 minutes ago. Time has flown by. Felt like thunder, but it literally we're on scaffold. Shook the scaffold, shook my chest, and shook the building. And then we saw the dark smoke coming up from the steel mill.
Did you realize it was the steel mill at that time?
Together, and it's like something bad happened.
I mean, they have a drone
and
up
in that
there.
moment, did
Show
you realize
the drone
it was
footage.
the steel mill?
Yeah, you can see it from 837 on the road.
Kind of explain to me what that looks like, that black smoke, and did you see the fire actually billowing?
I did not see any fire. I couldn't see the tops of the flames. All I saw was the black smoke, which has dissipated now. I don't know if they have it under control or whatnot, but not nearly as much smoke as there was a half hour ago.
What does that scene kind of look like now?
Every
Like
fire
over 100
department
years
within
old.
15 miles is here.
Bye, Angie.
A lot of ambulances, lots of sirens.
Did you physically hear an explosion?
Oh yeah, it sounded like thunder.
Wow. How far is your work site from the mill?
A half mile to a mile.
So everybody on your site kind of felt it and heard it.
Yeah, not even a half mile. We're pretty close.
I can hear the emergency responders in the background of you. Wow. Have you worked in this area for a long time?
We've been down here for about 2 weeks. We're doing a brick veneer on a building and just so happened to be down here while it was happening.
Any evacuations happening right now in your area?
I honestly, I don't know. I can't speak to that.
Are you guys kind of hunkering down in the meantime?
We're continuing to work. But hopefully, I don't know, maybe it'll be an early quit day. I don't know. I'm just worried about the guys down there.
Playing the same shit.
Is there anything else about the scene that you can kind of tell us, describe what's going on? Because we're seeing it from that area.
They're playing the same shit. But on your screen right now is the Associated Press, and that is live. But I'm tired of hearing their shit on loop. On loop. I don't think Associated Press has any audio. I think it's just aerial. Yeah. No audio at all, but At least it's live, what we're looking at. Sky News is live. Hold on. Yeah, they're not talking either. I don't know how long it's going to be before we get any updates, but man, my heart breaks for these people that are looking for their loved ones. That's the worst thing ever. That is the worst thing ever. And that's their best station. Thank you, Julie. I think I'm actually going to wrap it up because it seems like everything is kind of settled down a bit, and it's probably going to be a while. They're not talking about any press conferences. They're not talking about anything. There's families. There's no staging area. I mean, they never showed. Oh, they never did show the girl's brother's picture. You're right. Huh. Well, I don't want to get into conspiracies, but when that lady said that someone visibly saw her brother getting put into on a gurney, he must have been one of those they grabbed from that hole or something. That's why YouTube and live streaming will take. I agree. I think it already kind of is. I think they're already threatened by us. And now there's a missing 5-year-old with autism from McKeesport. Jeez. Oh, Kalaz. That's very conspiracy oriented. I used to get my news from CNN. Now I get it from Jay. There's supposed to be less than 2 hours. Wow, that's a long time to wait. Probably close to an hour now. All right. Well, I hope everybody stays safe, and I feel bad for the people in that area that don't have AC. I just can't even imagine. Like, I don't know. What do you do? Scary. Glenda, I'm sorry you just got here. I've been live for 2 hours, though, so I'm going to wrap this up. I don't want to be on loop. All right, guys. Have a safe day. I'll see you guys. Make sure you hit the notifications so you get notified if I go live spontaneously. And all my friends in PA, stay safe. Thank you, Treasure Rescue, for subscribing. I appreciate you. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this live stream or video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on my latest content. Want to take it a step further? Bring it all in. And join our community clickers by becoming a Patreon or a YouTube member. You'll get exclusive access to our Discord server, special channel perks, and much more. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.
Click. It's real easy, man.